basic or essential or core rights for all of development, for its moral, material, intellectual, and spiritual. Now the question is, what are the objectives of the fundamental rights? Government of law and promoting the ideal of political democracy, that is freedom and liberty. The constituent part and article. Part 3 of the Constitution and Article 14 to 32. These are the fundamental rights. Sources. The concept of fundamental rights or the sources of fundamental rights is the Constitution of USA, implicit in the formation of Indian National Congress in 1885. After the formation of Indian National Congress in 1885, the present-day fundamental rights has been carried out through various bills and provisions. And number 1 is the Constitution of India Bill 1895. The second is the Commonwealth of India Bill 1925, the Nehru Report 1928, the Karachi Resolution 1931, the Sapru Report 1945, and the Subcommittee Reports on Fundamental Rights. Let's go to discuss all about these one by one. Okay. The first is the Constitution of India Bill 1895. It is actually known as Swaraj Bill for self-governance under the British rule. It was influenced by Bal Gangadhar Tilak. It is known as Swaraj Bill. These demands were noted by the Swaraj Bill. Now, let's read about one by one. Individual rights, freedom of speech and expression, equality before law, structure of government, Parliament of India, decentralized administration, religious freedom, and social justice. These demands were demanded by the Swaraj Bill, that was by Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Okay. Bill. Next one is the Commonwealth of India Bill 1925. The Nehru Report 1928. It was drafted by Motilal Nehru. In response of Simon Commission 1927, it was introduced. The Congress passed a resolution, that is a Swaraj Constitution for India. It is also known as a Declaration of Rights. The Resolution 1931. It was presided over by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and drafted by Jawaharlal Nehru. The resolution was divided into two main parts: fundamental rights and the National Economic Program. The next is the Sapru Report 1945. It was chaired by Tej Bahadur Sapru, an eminent lawyer, and two suggestions were brought down by the Sapru Report. These are: number 1, a distinction between justiciable and non-justiciable rights, and number 2, the rights of minorities to be protected. These provisions were suggested by the Sapru Report. And the next one is the Subcommittee Report on Fundamental Rights. This committee was headed by J.B. Kripalani under the chairmanship of Vallabhbhai Patel on fundamental rights. The fundamental rights are justiciable rights. The fundamental rights. Originally, the Constitution provided for 7 fundamental rights, but the Article 31, that is a right to property, was abolished by the 44th Amendment Act 1978. Remaining 6 fundamental rights, that these are: 1, right to equality, number 2, right to freedom, number 3, right against exploitation, number 4, right to freedom of religion, right to freedom of religion. Number 5, cultural and educational, cultural and educational rights. And the number 6 is right to constitutional remedies, right to constitutional remedies. Next is the salient features of fundamental rights. 1. The fundamental rights are natural as well as legal. By the judicial review, it is dependent and guaranteed by the Supreme Court under Article 32 and the High Court under Article 226 through the writ provisions. That is number 6, right to constitutional remedies under Article 32. Article 32. Number 2, they are not absolute but qualified in nature. Number 3, it is part of basic structure. And number 4, some of the fundamental rights are also enjoyed by the foreigners. That is right to equality before law and right to freedom of religions. These two rights are enjoyed by foreigners. Next is the amendability of the fundamental rights. Special majority required, basic structure check, suspension during emergency. Let's read about one by one. Number 1 is special majority. Any amendment to fundamental rights must be passed by a special majority that is more than 50% of total membership. More than 50% of total membership. More than 50%. More than 50% of total membership. And the 2/3 members of those present and voting in both houses of parliament. That is the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Present and voting. Present and voting. Present and voting. Next one is the basic structure check. Fundamental rights are being part of the basic structure, such as the right to equality under Article 14. The right to equality. Right to equality. Article 14. Or right to life, that is under Article 21, are effectively unamendable. These are the part of basic structure of our constitution. The next point is a suspension during emergency. Suspension of fundamental rights during the emergency. Under Article 359. Under Article 359. Most fundamental rights can be suspended during a national emergency. However, the rights under Article 20 and 21, these can never be suspended. Under Article 359, fundamental rights are to be suggested to be suspended during the national emergency. National emergency. Emergency. But the fundamental rights under Article 20 and 21, 20 and 21, 21, these two are not suspended during the national emergency. Now, under 20, it is a protection in respect of conviction for offences, and the 21, it is the protection of life and personal liberty. Last but not least, please show the note here. By 86th Amendment Act, the right to education, it has been included in the list as part of right to freedom in the fundamental rights of our constitution, that is under Article 21A. Friends, these are all about a short note about the fundamental rights of our constitution. Let's continue for the next video. Thank you.